The news moves fast, and numbers are our language at Statista. I'm Molly. Let's take a dive into the numbers behind the headlines. The 2022 FIFA World Cup came to a close in December, with Argentina overcoming France in a thrilling final to claim their third World Cup title. As the tournament closes, so too do the record books, with a number of new interesting entries.
Lionel Messi did more than just win the World Cup. He also became the most experienced World Cup player ever, taking the field for the 26th and likely final time. On the French side, Olivier Giroud became France's most prolific goalscorer, with his opening goal against Poland taking it past Thierry Henry. And Kylian Mbappé became the tournament's leading goalscorer with 8 goals. The Qatar World Cup was one of firsts. A relatively new rule calculating extra time was in full effect, resulting in the longest ever World Cup group stage match with England versus Iran. Morocco became the first African nation to reach the semifinal. And this World Cup was the first with a female referee, Stéphanie Frappart of France, one of 6 female officiators at the tournament. Official attendance figures show that the Qatar World Cup was one of the most well-visited in history. Eyebrows were initially raised when official attendance figures were higher than reported stadium capacities, despite a number of empty seats visible on the broadcast. This is likely due to the fact that attendance figures were based on ticket sales rather than the number of people through the turnstiles. In some cases, actual stadium capacities were higher than initially reported.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas. These are just some of the events that make up the winter shopping season.
Black Friday is one of the biggest shopping days of the year, with hundreds of millions of Americans planning to take advantage of discounts on offer. In 2022, early figures show that total retail sales on Black Friday increased by 12%, including 19% increase in apparel sales. As inflation puts pressure on household budgets, it could be a driver for events like Black Friday, as bargain hunters look to minimize spending. Even without sales, the online price of many items has actually reduced compared to last year, in categories including apparel and electronics.
While Black Friday may have its origins in the US, the November sales bonanza has spread around the world. In many countries, nearly half of all shoppers say they are likely to take part in Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
A notable absence from the 2022 holiday shopping figures is the full data from Singles Day, the Chinese shopping event that falls on the 11th of the 11th every year. Alibaba chose not to disclose sales figures for their event this year, as did rival JD.com.
Overall, the value of holiday retail sales continues to climb. The final figures for the United States are yet to be tallied, but by the time decorations are packed away for another year, holiday spending is expected to exceed $900 billion in the United States for the first time. Laws governing relationships made headlines in December, showing different attitudes towards marriage and relationships across the globe.
The Indonesian government passed a bill criminalizing premarital sex and cohabitation. The move drew praise from parts of the nation, alongside sharp criticism. The ramifications of such a law are said to primarily impact marginalized groups, such as women and the LGBTQ community. Some officials are concerned the law would deter tourists who have only just begun returning as borders reopen. The governor of Bali, Wian Koster, sought to reassure tourists, saying that those who visit or live in Bali would not need to worry. Russia also tightened its sexuality laws in December, banning so-called LGBTQ propaganda. The new laws make it an offense to promote or praise same-sex relationships, publicly suggest that same-sex relationships are normal and bans media that authorities deem to be LGBTQ propaganda. Public opinion in Russia appears to become more anti-LGBTQ based on annual surveys, with many expressing negative opinions towards LGBTQ people. Sentiments regarding the protection of LGBTQ rights in the United States have increased since 2019. The U.S. Congress passed a landmark bill to protect the rights of homosexual couples by recognizing the legality of same-sex marriages amid fears the U.S. Supreme Court could reverse existing support. Also in December, France announced that condoms would be made freely available to young adults between 18 and 24 years old.
These are just some of the figures behind some major stories this month. For more on these topics and countless more, head over to Statista.com and join us again next month as we take a look at the month in data.